Hello, this is the American Developer. Today we're going to actually reconstruct the script a little bit. First off, we're going to create a simple class, since Python is amazing when it comes to object-oriented programming. Personally love it, very simple. I think you'll like it too as you continue to write in Python. So what I'm going to do is actually create a class, and it will be called Expedia Unit Test. And the reason why it's called Expedia is because I'm actually going to use Selenium to go to expedia.com website to pull in some ticket information. And if you watched my first video, I do explain that this will eventually be a full stack program that will actually notify you using a Node.js based server application and Angular to display the results, and also have Nagios to alert you when your price is looking better than it usually does. So hope you stay tuned in and actually subscribe, because this is going to be some awesome stuff. Alright, back to the video. I created the class expedia.com unit test, and first thing we need to do is get a constructor going. So I'm going to get a function set up, and this is the standard. This is roughly a constructor. It's probably not as fancy as other languages when it comes to a constructor, but yeah, this is basically what a constructor is. When you first call the class, you have all the variables that are associated with that constructor, and it automatically populates with that information that you want. In this case, I don't want to close my Selenium. This will actually load up a chromedriver browser as soon as you call the class. Now, I do plan on making videos to explain what a class is, what a function is, but this is more of a scenario-based programming tutorial, so I'm assuming that you have some basic knowledge of programming. But if you want me to create some basic videos explaining what a class is and all of that, please leave me a comment, and I'll probably actually start creating those videos so that you can see that and understand how that stuff works. Now, let's go ahead and add this part to the bottom. This is more for in the future when you are actually getting your script set up to run on a daily basis. This is basically saying that, hey, if I'm running it by myself, I'm going to do this. So right now I'm actually calling the class right here, and let's see what happens when I call just the class, just to test my theory about the constructor. Alright, let's run it. So that closed up fairly quickly. Yeah, with the classes is a little bit better on the memory management and all of that. If you saw my last video, you can see that the browser just stayed there, but since this is running on a class, it behaves a little differently. Let's just add another method. There we go. Timer practice. This will do a simple wait, mainly to see if my methods and objects are set up correctly. And as you can tell, I'm calling self on everything. The nice thing about that is you can actually move from, you can initialize it here, let's say like self.driver. You can actually move that throughout the entire class. Very awesome stuff. And let's have like a shutdown, like a teardown. Because, hey, if we're going with automation, that's part of it. We need a setup and a teardown in every automated test. So let's do self.driver. Let's see, close. So after it waits for 10 seconds, I'm going to tear it down. Let's run it again. Now it should just be for 10 seconds and then it drops. Or it tears down itself. There we go. So that works correctly. So now we're actually going to get into the meat of this video. We're going to go to Expedia.com. So what we're going to do is self.driver.get and your desired URL location, which is Expedia.com. You thought I was going to say it again. Alright. I don't care about that right now, but I want to test to make sure that it actually goes to the site. And it does. Awesome. So just so you know, the function.get will tell chromedriver where to go. So the next thing we need to do is, this is just a good practice to have, is when you go to a website, your computer is dumb as hell. It's really dumb. It's going to automatically try to click on the next element on the screen. For this reason, we need to tell the computer to wait. Dude, wait a second. Wait until this element appears. And that's what we're going to do. We are going to tell the browser to wait. Take a chill pill. If I can spell. Visibility of element located by ID. I want to show you, really this is all that Selenium is about, is looking at your DOM, your document object model within your web page. You can actually, for example, on Google Chrome, you can go to the developer console and you can actually look into the element page. You can inspect an element. That is where I'm getting this information from. I did not just make it up. I'll show you that in just a minute. And let's go ahead. This is another one. Define element by ID. And it is actually this same thing. So I'm not going to work this hard to type the same thing over and over again. And what I'm going to do is do a simple click. And I'm going to wait for 5 seconds just to see if the thing works before I add more care to it. Now let's run it. Actually, let's do this about 60 seconds. I can close it by myself, but I want to show you something. Actually, I can't do it on Selenium, on chromedriver, because, yeah, you're not allowed to look at it. I'll show you in a little bit, but anyways, let's test this. Now, I'm going here to Expedia, and it should click the flights button. Let's see if it works. There we go, it worked. It actually clicked the flights button. That is good. We're on a good steady course here, my friends. Let's see here. And before I continue on, I just want to show you this, just to make sure you understand what I'm doing. So if I go to the website, and I check here, I right click here, and I click inspect. And you notice there's a whole bunch of errors here, because that's, a lot of professional websites have errors. So if you click this button here, or hold a Control-Shift-C, you can actually inspect an element. and you can click it. And what I'm looking for, usually the best one to find, or the ID, the attributes with ID, and then you can see here that it has tab, flight tab. Alright, I hope that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, just leave me a comment, I'll explain it better. Alright, so that's where it takes us next. Now what we need to do is add a little bit more information on there to actually do a search. What we're going to do is this. I'm going to do the same thing, so to save time, because what I'm looking for next is flight origin. That's another ID element on the page. And I'm going to do this over and over again because I want to be fast. Flight origin, one is actually destination. Flight departing. And flight returning. And it's going to be search button. Actually, most of these are going to be send keys. Yes, you can actually tell the browser to send certain keys to the web page for you. So it's I live around the Salt Lake area, so I'm going to say Salt Lake City, Utah. And I want to go to Seattle because I'm a hipster. I have a big beard. I still need to get some flannel shirts, but maybe for Christmas I'll get me one. And I want to, and speaking of Christmas, I want to get to Seattle by Christmas. It's a little bit, few days earlier. Everyone does that. And I want to return back to Utah in January the 5th. And I'm going to search for it, okay? I'm going to do a time sleep just to verify everything's working the way it should. Alright, let's test it. Let's see if we actually pull up results using just Selenium. Alright, so I'm going to Expedia.com and I'm going to fly from Salt Lake City, yep, flying to Seattle. And look how fast that was. That was so freaking fast. And look how awful the prices are looking right now. Probably should have done this earlier. Okay, so that looks like it's working. So now the next thing that we need to do is actually extract data from the web page. I'm going to do like 7 seconds or so. So first thing I'm going to do is create a variable and call it parentTab and define it as self.driver find element by ID, and I'm looking for flightModuleList. And we're going to do a for loop here. Once again, if you don't know much about programming, just let me know. I'll love to talk to you about it, create some videos for you to see. And we're going to do find elements by xpath. And we're going to set it to this, which represents everything after this element that's found. So parentTab represents this attribute ID, so this tag that has flightModuleList. And I'm going to look through everything that's after this ID. Now, it will not go through the entire page, it will go through everything after this. And the reason being is I only care about prices. I don't care about pictures of Expedia. I just care about looking for prices. And I'm going to see if the tag attribute class is equal to dollars price emphasis. That's a simple if statement. I'm going to print it out. in the text it looks at the actual text of the element instead of just the attributes of the tag, if that makes sense. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I'm going to test it right now. Let's do this. And what we should see are prices. That is what we're expecting to see now, after typing in all the information pertaining to the tickets where I want to go. I have kids, so I have to... Oh, never mind. Oh, looks like I got an error. That's life. Web element not found. What did I do wrong here? Let's see. All right. Software driver, find elements. Find, oh. If select all and parent tab. If select all. Oh, yeah, I was not paying attention to my own stuff. I was getting excited. Yeah, of course, that makes no sense. If select all dot get attribute class equals dollars price emphasis print select all get attribute class print select all dot text. Okay, yeah, that was my mistake. This happens to a lot of people, especially when they're trying to explain it by word of mouth. Kind of miss things. Alright, so what we're expected to see now are actually prices. You'll see it eventually appear here. I'm giving it a 7-second wait, so let's see here. There we go. So you can see $502, $502. And it's going to go through the list of everything that's on the first page. And eventually what we can do is actually make this more dynamic, make it find the element quicker. Mainly this is a simple tutorial of how to extract information from a web page. That's what we're aiming for, and you can see that it's still pulling the data in. And what we can do with all of this is actually compare prices. We can actually pull out more information, like does it include baggage fee, or does it, are the ratings good on it, is it non-stop, what's the distance, does the distance change? And we can do all of that. I personally would like to create this for myself so I can actually notify myself of good ticket prices. Maybe one day Seattle could cost me $30 and I would be the only one knowing about it because it could be alerting me at 3 in the morning. That would be awesome. I would take advantage of that. Pay $30 to fly myself to Seattle to go to a Starbucks with my hipster beard and my flannel t-shirt and talking about how awesome my MacBook Pro is. Alright, folks, we were able to extract information from my webpage, and we were able to see prices from it. What I'm planning to do in the next video is actually pull up more important information that can actually weigh out other tickets. So like the distance, is it non-stop? How much is it for additional adults, or you're planning to bring children? You know, add in all the other different parameters and variables that goes into deciding on a plane ticket. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment and subscribe to my videos. It will help me a lot. That shows support to me. and it shows that, you know, some people care. They want to learn some serious coding and have fun at the same time. Thank you very much. You have a great day.